3, 2, 1, Belly.
Good morning.
What is wrong with you, man? Pay your bill. What is wrong with you?
I live in the country. Occasionally things don't always work in the country, but I don't think it was my fault necessarily. So don't blame everybody. Don't always blame me for my mistakes.
Are you blaming talk, are you?
No. I wouldn't be so rude.
Don't
Jeremy.
bite that hand that feeds you, Belly. You know the story. Listen, my friend. Interestingly, King Charles, first royal tour. Embarrassing for the French that they had to pull out because of the riots over the pension, but he landed in Germany yesterday, and he says that the UK and Germany should fill the next chapters of their relationship with the restless pursuit of a better tomorrow. What the hell does that mean?
Well, doesn't every politician been saying that for centuries? If you go back, every politician is always looking at tomorrow and trying to make things better. So it's basically standard political speak, I would suggest, trying to, and I suppose, though, put it into historical context to ensure that relations...
Oh.
Excuse me.
Oh, great. So the machinery is broken and now he's absolutely buggered. So
Jeremy, what I was going to say is that historically, looking for a better tomorrow, and put it into historical context with Germany to make sure we don't end up in a sort of situation like we did at the sort of the first half of the last century. So, and relations have been good. And I think the King was at pains to point out how significant he thought his mother's role was in establishing good relations with Germany. From 1965, when she first went there, she was a regular visitor. She was very aware of her German heritage and the German side of the family. And we saw that there have been members of the German cousins of the King at various functions over these last 2 days. So I think that's the point. Although, yes, that phrase is part of the horrible sort of political speak that we see now about building a better tomorrow. But I don't know, what else do you say? Because the intention for everybody is to try and make things better for us. Although that's not always the path of that particular course isn't running that smooth at the moment.
Right, you cough while I speak. Listen, I want to talk about something. We touched upon Germany, but I want to talk about a bigger thing here. King Charles, May, the coronation. We've talked about, Prince and Princess privacy for as long as we possibly can. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in Prince Andrew. I want to ask you something else this morning. This coronation, let's talk about the King, the man that you know. You touched upon a political message. He has been somebody who is well known to have opinions, and I myself, I don't think that's a bad thing. However, there's a difference between being Belly, the Prince of Wales, and being the King of England. Do you think His Highness will be able to keep his trap shut on things that matter enough to him over the coming months and years?
I think that's where he's going to, I don't think we need a restraining order on him, but...
you know what I mean, though, right? You know what I'm saying.
I think he is fully aware of his obligations, and I think we've seen that by the way he's approached his first few months in the job, as it were. It's not an easy course for him. It is, when you're 75, suddenly having to rein in your natural instincts, to use the phrase. It's not straightforward. But I do think he understands what his role is and the significance of going to Germany, the soft politics of his position. And he can't put his head above the parapet because that will alienate probably parts of this country and other people. We saw actually in Germany, members of the various parties in Germany didn't want to go to see him making a speech in the Bundestag because they felt it wasn't right that a monarch was speaking to members of the German parliament. So it is always going to be fraught with difficulties, whatever he does. But if he can navigate a gentle course, which is what his mother did, because surely she would have had opinions and would give advice on
But you never heard them because she took the throne at 26. The fact of the matter is, we've heard his opinions. He is... Somebody said to me the other night, actually, he's not a caretaker king, but he might not be there for... It might be just 10 or 15 years. So stamping his mark was keeping his trap shut. And I'll tell you something I want to say quickly. I take my hat off to her. I think the influence and the power that the Queen Consort has over him is vital. I think she keeps him on the straight and narrow, don't you?
I think the important thing is he's happy in his relationship. And I think that counts for an awful lot. He's got someone he can trust by his side implicitly. Now, there may be people out there who still haven't warmed to Queen Camilla because of all the backstory behind her. But in terms of his life, she is absolutely vital.
I think she's won people's respect by getting a nut down and supporting the man she loves and doing a job, which those two in California could learn from massively, I think.
I think that's the point, and he does need, and she is able to sort of correct him, and probably is actually offering advice to, as you say, keep him on the straight and narrow, because she sees the broader picture. She is, and I know from people who've worked with her and met her, that she is an enormous positive influence, and I think we've seen it in Germany.
Yeah.
And that, I think, because he is happy with her around, and that makes it easier for him to do his job. Okay, and that's why I think it is working so far. Leading up to the coronation, we're just over, 5 weeks away to that coronation, the most important day in his life. And let's hope that the build-up is not, there aren't the distractions. You know, this week hasn't gone as he planned, because obviously the French said non merci, or President Macron.
Ooh la la!
Although I did like the picture from some unions saying, sorry, Charles, as there was 100 of Calais pointing
Anything that
towards
upsets the French will do for me. Final question, Billy. Have you got your invite yet to the coronation? I had mine last week.
Well, I'm very pleased for you. I think... have you just told a porky pie there?
Not at all.
Jeremy?
+1. Jeremy Kyle +1. Not sure. Just got to walk up the long walk, not far. What?
Well, what, you're going to the concert then on the Sunday night?
Good man, you got it right. Right, get off the line. Rupert Bell, very, very kind.